What's up, y'all? It's Konphlicted here. Give a quick breakdown on Cambodia Souls song I put out recently. First, I want to tell the actual story behind how the song was created. So I got a Cambodian friend named Ritty. He drove the truck in the Depravic video from my EP Ready last year. So he had an idea for me to try to write a song to a Cambodian music. And so I like to just try different things. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try, find me, some type of song or instrumental or something that I could write to. So he gave me something, I listened to it, and I noticed that it didn't have a discernible beat in a traditional rap hip-hop sense. It didn't give me nothing that I could just immediately like, okay, that's the vibe, and I can just flow off that. So what I decided to do, I listened to it for about 5 minutes to kind of fill out how was I going to attack it. And I realized I could kind of apply the beat, so to speak, or the drums to the music. So my cadences were very rapid. Excuse me. My cadences were very rapid. In order to just establish a consistent, so everything I'm spitting after a certain point in the song tends to just be in kind of strings, but just because I'm really just drumming with words. So that's kind of how that came about conceptually. So shout out to Ritty for the idea for the song, because I actually like how it turned out. It's an interesting thing to do, because it's definitely not something people would normally spit to. Now this song, I'm going to actually break down the lyrics, some of the lyrics. It's a very militant song, but it's also excuse me, it's kind of global commentary, so to speak. Yeah, I'm touching on a lot of different world issues, which I'll get to in a second. I guess just to start from the beginning of the song, explaining how that was done. So I think the left ear, I do a speaking part in both ears, the left and the right. All I did was I improvised both. I did like one take, and I just told them to pan it to the left, and then another take, told them to pan it to the right. And I did them independent of each other, but they end up kind of overlapping over each other and kind of telling an interesting story. So one string of conversation, speech, is speaking on how every generation views itself as being somehow special or so vastly different than generations before. But in reality, history keeps repeating itself in a big loop, basically, saying that nothing has really changed over the course of human history. It's just been a sort of cyclical pattern that we follow. Then on the right ear, it's more of just a sort of braggadocious, I'm finna rip it up type of talk. I say something like, every time I step in the booth, I'm trying to take it to a higher level. That's actually kind of on purpose in the sense of the right side is caught up in the moment, and they just wanted to put forth their best effort, and the left side is looking at it from a more zoomed out point of view and seeing that it may be special for its time, but it's just part of the still the same cycle. So maybe, I mean, it's just a conversation, so to speak. So jumping into the actual lyrics, first part I want to point out, one of the lines that jumps out at me is still handles elonged with proponents to kill but loaded to heal. So that one, I think I can sum up pretty easy. It's kind of like a statement proclaiming oneself as like a warrior of peace, in a sense of prepared for and ready to engage but only for the purposes of better, for the greater good. That's what that represents. Obviously, still handles, it's the imagery of a gun, which is, a lot of people's eyes, a weapon of power. Um, but I'm saying that the proponents of the gun that have been assembled to kill, or instead being loaded to heal. So it's like the warfare that's going to come is in order to heal, is in order to help, it's in order to restore, is in order to change things, not just for the sake of some kind of lust to grab or anything like that. Um, let's see. I could touch on the baphomet part, but I don't want to. I think it's more interesting to let people figure that out for themselves. I say some things about the current administration politically, and I want to be clear on that part that I'm not really talking about because Trump's in office, because, in my opinion, the president is a figurehead of a corporation. So to say this administration is particularly worse than the other, I don't agree with, but I do think there are things being passed through time that are getting progressively more and more dangerous. And it's not things that's hard to find. I mean, people just actually don't know. Like, people don't know anything about, like, government policy because it's not really put on the news. You have to seek it out. You have to look it up. And it's accessible, but people don't care. So if it's not put in front of them, nobody even bothers to just read stuff. Um, and there's just so many things that's very alarming, especially for the future, for the kids, the world that they're going to inherit. If it's allowed for the political structure just to keep writing these insane rules that people just kind of seem to shrug about. Um, I mentioned culture being corrupted by vultures, and mostly supportive and offering endorsements. When I say vultures, because a lot of people might think I mean that from more of a race perspective, and I don't actually at all, because I think you can be part of hip hop culture and be anybody from anywhere, because it's a love thing. I think the vultures comes in when people doing it for money, people doing it for fame, when people doing it and exploiting, like whatever it is they're doing, it's not genuine, it's not coming from an honest place, it's not coming from an honest artistic expression or attempt to understand a different mindset. It's coming from just trying to target people's interests. I think anybody who does that is a vulture. It doesn't matter what race they are. It doesn't matter where they grew up. It doesn't matter if their parents were rich, poor, like all these things that we tend to, that hip hop culture tends to impose on people. I don't feel like that's what makes a vulture. I think it's, do they respect the culture? Do they love the culture? Do they partake in the culture? Do they live in the culture? Do they try to kind of live their life somewhat based and immersed in the culture, or is this just something that they do in order for commerce? Because hip hop is popular, so let's jump into hip hop. That's a vulture. That could be anybody. uh, say some things about the beer rooms. I think that's kind of straight to the point. I do make a statement about human trafficking because it's one of those other things where I know it can be depressing at times to think about the things that go on in the world, but at the same time, not talking about it, not thinking about it, kind of, there's no way to stop it if it's not acknowledged. So you have to raise awareness of bad things in order for something to actually occur to create change. I mean, there's like global, humongous rings of like human trafficking. That should be like an outrage. That like, let's stop everything and fix this shit. But I mean, we know that's not reality. But I think as an artist, you have a sort of responsibility to just draw attention to things in the world. You can't fix anything, but if more people are interested, then things can be fixed, things can be changed, because people are what create the world. It's not like these things happen. We are the ones doing them. So we are the ones who have to correct the mistakes. And it's just a tragic thing. Skip over that for all the mystical stuff. I'm going to let y'all have fun with that. If you want to ask me something direct, though, like anybody, you can always hit me up. I'll answer questions. But I like people to think when I go into the more spiritual, mystical kind of language. I'm interested to see how people interpret it on their own, actually. So somebody hit me up in the comments and let me know what y'all think about that. I take a little shot at religion in here, and I want to be clear that I don't actually judge somebody by their religion as long as the spirituality behind it. I think, unfortunately, you have a lot of religious people who have no spirituality. They have no love in their hearts. They have no belief. They just hide behind the institution. And I don't think the institution is a good thing. I think the institution has been created to exploit spirituality and to exploit the culture's natural spirituality, because the culture is naturally spiritual. So what better way to grab people than to catch them and what you know that they're passionate about, you know, they love. That's just my opinion. So all in all, Cambodian soul is sort of mystical, political, just I'm not even sure what to call it. It's like mystical revolutionary or something like that. But it was a cool song. I enjoyed making it. It was a challenge. I think artistically, I'm definitely gonna do some more stuff like it at some point. Maybe make like a project of different cultures, just like combine a bunch of different cultures' music and just put it together. That's what it's all about, just unity and just merging styles and cultures, influences, wisdom. It's just a beautiful thing. So, peace, y'all.